Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our topic of today's presentation is the research design. Research design is a study design that is specific plan or protocol for conducting a research and that allows the investigator to translate the conceptual hypothesis into an operational one. It is your overall design, your work, your plan, and that is you you plan, you study a work, you decide a topic, and then how you are going to execute it, how or what is your let's say study area, or what is your study population, how you're going to collect the samples, and what sort of methodology are you going to use, and then what are the different applications that you might be using, what can be different statistical softwares that you can be using during your work. Everything that follows during the course of your research work, it is encompassed in the research design. It is a plan, it is a structure, it is a strategy of investigation, so conceived as to obtain answers to research questions or problems or the issues. Our traditional research design is a blueprint or detailed plan for how a research study is going to be completed, operationalizing the variable so they can be measured, selecting a sample of interest to the study, collecting data to be used as a basis for testing hypotheses, and analyzing the results. It is a procedural plan that is adopted by the researcher to answer the questions validly, objectively, accurately, and economically. There are two main functions of research design. The first one relates with identification or development of a procedure or logistical arrangements that might be required to undertake a specific study. And the second one is focuses on the importance of quality in these procedures. Hence, through a research design, first you identify, you arrange uh, the procedure, you develop the procedures and arrangements, other related arrangements for the work, and then you ensure the quality of them as well. By the help of a research design, you would be able to conceptualize an operational plan to undertake the various procedures and tasks required to complete your study, and ensure that these procedures are adequate to obtain valid, objective, and accurate answers to the research questions. Therefore, research design, it should do following things for you. You're going to name the study design as per se. That is a cross-sectional study, a prospective study, a before and after, a retrospective study. You need to name the study design, and because a specific study design has got specific modules, its specific applications, its comparisons, and there are so many details. They are coming in the following lectures about the different types of the research designs. And then research design, it also helps you to provide detailed information about the different aspects of the study. The research study design, it should address, there can be so many other aspects, but few of the important aspects that should be covered by research design includes: number one, who will constitute the study population. We're going to clearly elaborate, we are going to clearly announce the participants, whether they can be patients, whether it can be your study population can be street vendors, it can be mice, it can be bacterial samples, it can be blood, bodily fluids, and anything. Who is going to constitute the study population? You need to describe it. You need to inform uh, the readers about it while preparing the project or the proposal. Also describe the sample size. Okay, you are going to collect, let's say, blood samples from some participants of the study or patients of a disease from a hospital or ward, or you're going to collect samples from street vendors. Then what is going to be the possible sample size? You can use biostatistical tools for that. You are going to explain the inclusion and exclusion criteria for describing the study population. How will the study population be identified? What sort of study design is going to be proposed while conducting the research, whether it's a cross-sectional perspective, whether it's a retrospective. What, how are you going to identify whether you're going to just collect the samples, collect the data about a population, let's say about, you are studying the lung cancer, and you just, your hypothesis is that presumably the smoking it leads to the lung cancer. So are you going to conduct a study which will be moving forward, let's say in the coming time, or prospective study? You are going to, let's say, select some smokers, let's say 100 smokers, study population is going to be for smokers, then study sample size, let's say 100, and then you are going to check those persons at a consecutive time for the development of lung cancer. Is it what you are proposing, or whether you are proposing that, okay, I will look at the persons with lung cancer, then I will be collecting data whether their history of this smoking or not. So how will the study population be identified? It's very important. Then if a sample is selected, how it will be contacted or taken, whether you are planning to contact your, let's say, participants of the study by emails, mailing them, or whether it's a sampling procedure, whether it's what type of procedure are you planning to do. Let's say you're going to collect blood by vinipuncture technique, you're going to collect oral or nasopharyngeal swabs for bacterial or viral samples. You need to identify them, you need to decide it. And then how the consent will be sought, whether you are going to utilize a pre-designed consent form which is going to be requested by mail or email, or it is going to be personally presented to participants of the study, and then you are going to get it signed. You need to decide it. What method of data collection will be used and why? That is, whether your study it includes collection of samples, blood samples like a body fluid, whether it's a questionnaire-based study, whether the study is based upon the, let's say, in social science, it is based upon the interviews, whether the study is going to be observational study, you're just going to observe and you're going to write down the observations. You need to explain the possible reasons for the data collection by the proposed method. Why is it suitable? Why have you preferred it? Why have over some other possible data collection techniques? And is it a valid technique that has been supported by previous studies or not? You need to elaborate, you need to give some background about that as well. Then the next important thing while deciding a research design is how will the ethical issues be taken care of? Whether the research proposal address the ethical issues and it's not violating any human or animal rights, whether informed consents use the ensuring the respect for anonymity and confidentiality. So how are you going to address the privacy of the participants of the study, or even how you are going to taking care of the ethical issues related to your study? That should be addressed as well. And based upon these different parameters, we normally we decide, we classify the study designs into so many different types of, into different types based upon so many different type perspectives. The most commonly used one are the quantitative study. In the quantitative studies, there are mainly, let's say, we give three perspective. Based upon three perspective, we have got different types of the research design. Number one is the number of contacts with the study population, that how often, how frequently you are going to get in contact with the study population, and then whether just it's a single time, whether it's a multiple time, whether you are going to contact with the study population or your subjects over a course of longer time. In between, you're planning to contact them. This contact means this collection of sample as well. It's not just only you're going to contact them and then you're going to, let's say, just interview them, or you're going to um, observe them. It's not necessary. It's like collection of the sample. That how often are you going to collect the sample from a study? For example, for a small miniature study of animal models, let's say you conduct a study on mice with an infectious disease, and the experiment is spanned over 72 hours you are going to collect sample, blood sample, let's say after every 6 hours. That is one plan of the study. Then another plan can be you're going to collect samples from a person over the next 10 years. Let's say after every 3 months or every 6 months you are going to collect the sample, then you are going to uh, study it, analyze it, then again you are going to follow the study. Another type of perspective is that you can design your study, and different types are present in the reference period of the study, whether you are going to study in which time frame the, the issue, the phenomena that you are studying is already happened in the past, or it's in the present time, or whether you are going to study it in the future time perspective. That that's because that's on the basis of the reference period, the time schedules, the time. Other, what's the nature of investigation? What is your exact true planning for investigation? That's also another type of investigation. Research design. There are so many different types amongst it. So we will be studying all these things in the following, the coming subsequent lectures. Thank you so much for listening to this talk, and we will be talking about these three different perspectives individually in the subsequent slides, subsequent